here's an example of a question that looks legitimate at first glance. Your company is migrating to GCP. Your tech lead, decides to implement automated backups, disaster recovery procedures, monitoring alerts for all critical systems. And which pillar of the well-architected framework, Google's well-architected framework, does this represent? So this is a business scenario. It mentions the well-architected framework, which is in the new exam guide. So thousands of people will see this and think that it's a realistic practice question, right? But here's why fake practice questions like this fool people. The exam guide mentions well-architected framework. The question mentions it too. People will assume that it's legitimate. And so the logic chain here, it's sensible and it's convincing, but this is actually not a realistic question that could show up on the exam. In reality, someone probably just put the exam guide through ChatGPT and asked it to generate practice questions, or asked it to generate a question about, the well-architected framework. And something being on the exam guide doesn't tell you, how it's going to be tested. And the reason for that is a clue to figure out whether or not a question is fake, is that the real exam tests architectural decision making instead of actual, definitions of things. So there are many ways a concept can be tested. The question represented here is not how Google typically does it. In fact, the well-architected framework itself is unlikely to be tested explicitly in a question. You're just supposed to be familiar with it and familiar with the approach that Google is putting forth in its framework. AWS also has a well-architected framework. It's kind of, a thing that the cloud providers are adopting. And they are, they're not going to ask you what the pillars are of the framework, but you're going to, if you are familiar with the well-architected framework, it would help you answer other questions. So I just want to make the point that just because, the exam guide mentions something and a practice question also mentions it, that doesn't mean that the practice question is realistic.